Now let's discuss some less productive ways of dealing with disciplinary issues. First off, and the one that comes most naturally, is anger. We're frustrated because we want to do our job and our students are not letting us. However, if we give in to anger, first of all, it ruins our day. The rest of the day is all filtered through that initial incident of anger. Nothing goes right. Second, it makes the teacher look weak. If a teacher is getting angry, it means the teacher cannot control what's going on. Aren't the students ashamed that they got the teacher angry? Actually not. It's kind of entertaining to them. Stopping the lesson. As we said before, that's going to kill the momentum. Momentum is what we ride on to keep the kids moving in the right direction. We stop to yell at one kid, it's going to mean that nobody's learning anything, which creates a vacuum. It also rewards the disruption because the kids are learning less. And ultimately, the kids are bored. They're not intimidated. Oh no, the teacher stopped the lesson, I better be quiet. They're just like, what are we doing here already? Similar is canceling part of your classroom routine. Okay, if this way you're going to act, there's no more rewards for such. First of all, you put in that routine to help you teach, so you're punishing yourself. Why would you take it away because a kid is disrupting? Rather, what you can do is ban for a short period. If you're going to act up during independent reading, we're not going to have it this week. However, that means in the future, if you want independent reading, you better cooperate. Insulting students with snide remarks. First of all, we want to keep that professional image. Let's not tarnish it by stooping to the level of the students. We actually don't want to hurt our students. We're here to help them. And even if a student is not hurt, he has a thick skin, he's been giving back the same type of things. Besides, if when it comes from a teacher, it actually does hurt more, he will definitely claim to be hurt, start playing the blame game, and go crying to everybody. It distracts from the lesson. Everybody's going to go, ooh. And if you can make a remark, so can your student. It invites a retort. He can give it back where it came from, and you may be in a losing situation if he has a better line. Similar to this is, let's say you're outside talking, and another teacher sees fit to share a concern about the student. And you come into class and say, well, Mr. So-and-so said you're not acting well in his class either. First of all, the student can rightfully feel violated. Why are you talking about him behind his back? He'll definitely claim to feel violated. What if he wants to do well in your class, even though in Mr. So-and-so's class he messed up? Give him a clean slate. And what if Mr. So-and-so didn't really want his remark repeated? The student's going to now go over to him and confront him. That's not going to do well for your relationship with your fellow teacher. Sometimes we want to remind our students that this is serious business. And we say things like, you're going to fail. Or, I'm looking forward to kicking you out. Now, we don't actually mean that. What we mean is, if you don't start studying or behaving, you're all going to fail. Or, I'm looking forward to kicking you out if you keep disrupting. However, they only hear the first part. And they say, oh, why should I bother studying? The teacher's going to kick me out anyway. He's going to fail me anyway. And how can you believe anything the teacher says about me? Because, you see, he's looking forward to kicking me out. He doesn't like me. Sometimes it will seem as if the entire class is not cooperating, and we want to give them a punishment as a group. However, in reality, you do always have a core of a couple of students who are willing to cooperate, who want to learn, and were really not part of the mischief. To punish them, first of all, is unfair. Second, If they're getting punished along with everybody else, why should they bother helping you out? You want these students to be on your side because as we take care of the problem students, the class will get back on track with these solid ones cooperating. In addition, if you send the message that the class is one, they will assume that they are one, and they will join as a group against the teacher and plan group rebellions, which will be much harder to deal with. Let's say it's a large group of students. Again, not every student is created equal, not all of them misbehave equally. They'll actually use either of these, group punishment or subgroup punishment, as proof that nobody really deserved it. Because look, he was studying, he was working, he wasn't talking, and he got the same punishment. How can you say that we really deserve this? What should we do? Make levels. You who were talking the entire time have to answer 5 questions. You who are somewhat disruptive have to answer 4. You answer 3, and you, I just want you to do 1 or 2 of them. Sometimes it seems that everybody knows who is behind the mischief aside from us. We may be tempted to launch into an interrogation asking the students who done it. Unfortunately, it will not work, for a couple of reasons. First, no student will rat out another student regardless of how wrong he thinks he is. Second, he actually is not allowed to. The Torah prohibits one to give over negative information about his fellow except in a court of law. We are not a court of law, much as we would like to be. Also, let's say they do name a student. We're not allowed to believe the answer. Besides for the Torah prohibitions, how do you know that the information is accurate? What if the students decided to gang up on someone innocent and get him in trouble as a scapegoat for what really happened? What will happen is that the teacher will wind up backing down, and looking weak, the students will have won. Better to deal with this disruption like any other, ride it through, capitalize on the good students, and move forward in a productive way. There's nothing more frustrating than trying to talk and not being able to. And we might be tempted to say, look, you're not going to let me talk. You obviously don't need my instruction. Do the work on your own. And good luck. Ask me if you have any questions. The problem is, number one, this is a form of group punishment. The students who were cooperative will now be forced to figure it out by themselves. Also, it shows that you're raising the white flag. You cannot control us, even if you wanted to, and therefore you're resorting to giving us work. And most of all, they will then run to their parents, to the principal, and say, how can I possibly learn in this class? Why should I bother? All he does is give us work, conveniently leaving out the reason why, which is that you had trouble talking. We have to find a different solution rather than withdrawing to behind our desks. At some point, we may be tempted to launch into a lecture about how our students' behavior is unbecoming religious students, especially Orthodox religious students. Problem is, number one, they know this in theory. They know what they should be doing. It's a matter of impulse control, restlessness, all those other challenges that we've been talking about. Number two is, who are we to tell them this? First of all, we're probably not as religiously educated as they are. Even if we happen to be a rabbi, number one, we may not be their type of rabbi, of their particular religious yeshiva style bent. And number two is, whoever we are, we're not telling this to them to educate them religiously. We're telling this to them as a self-serving method of controlling our class. It won't wash. It's a waste of time.